So far, what we've looked at is a range of assets and activities within the system, how we can visualize and interact with those assets, and also the flexibility and configurability of the system to align it with your organizational requirements. What I'd now like to move on to is how we can use Alloy to help you with carrying out reactive and planned activities on your assets and services. So we'll start with reacting to events and service requests that might be coming in from the public. And it's before we sort of go into that, it's worth pointing out that Alloy has been designed as a system to work in a world of connected asset management. We've built it to be very flexible in terms of how it can integrate with other systems. We expect and want Alloy to integrate with a range of systems so that you can have lots of different touch points to get information in about potential issues. So, it could be coming in from a CRM, it could be coming in from a mobile app that the public are using, a web form that they're interacting with, or even sensors. We don't mind where these events or service requests comes from. Alloy's been built to be really flexible to integrate with all these different systems to ensure that you can get as current information about performance as you can get. And then once that information comes into the system, Alloy's able to respond in lots of different ways as well. So it could go into sort of a dynamic inbox view where a manager just reviews it at a certain frequency and then will decide on an appropriate action for that service request or event. It could go into one of these dynamic layers. So, a new service request comes in and you get an exclamation mark appear in the map. You can see there's an issue and you need to somehow respond to it. It could also appear sort of within these dashboard cards with the statistics updating. And also, what we can have within Alloy is workflows listening for stuff coming in. And think about workflows as processes that sort of emulate, refine, and automate your current business processes. You can build out these kind of massive decision trees that will say, in this particular circumstance, I want you to do X, in this particular circumstance, I want you to do Y, and in this one, do Z. It gives you huge flexibility to sort of automatically respond to triggers that are coming into the system. And this is the example I want to show you. I want to show you how a workflow can sort of automate a response through Alloy to a service request. So what we're going to do is we're going to select this grasped area here, and I'm going to add a defect, a service request against this grasped area. Is going to be for somebody essentially finding some needles. And as I say, this could come in from a variety of sources, but I'm just showing you how you can add it actually within the system. So we'll select the defect type. It's a third-party report. Details, so it's reported, service, sharps, needles. There's all the other information that could be recorded as part of that. Defect location, so if someone was using a web form or a CRM, they may be able to actually plot it, or a mobile app even. And then you could actually have report information come into the system as well, if you wanted that. And we've got all this kind of GDPR checks as well. So let's create that. We now go over to the defects tab. You can see that we've got a sharps and needles defect that's been, or service request that's been reported in this grasped area. And I don't know if you just heard my phone buzz there, but if I grab my phone, I've just received a text message from Alloy telling me that there's a sharps and needles service request that's been raised, and here's the link to sort of find it and go and respond to it. So we can send text alerts, email alerts out to people so that they can be jolted into action. If I now in the back office or cloud system select that service request, I can see the information associated with it, and I can also see a job's been created. So I can then link through to that job. And yeah, you can see the raise time. We've given it a day's target time with the workflow because it's obviously quite a serious thing. You probably want to get to that quite quickly. And the team it's being issued out to, and so on and so forth. So let's have a quick look at the workflow that's driven that. And the great thing about these workflows is they are entirely configurable. You can build them to reflect the business processes that you want your organization to follow. So it's this grounds SR action. And as I said before, it's a bit like a decision tree. Here's the third-party request, and then all these different scenarios or circumstances are assessed, and if one of them is valid, then an action is created, or multiple actions. So let's look at this one. This is the service request equals sharps and needles, so someone's reported that. And then from that, we've created this job. So sharps and needles removal, it's issued out to the field team. They've got a day to do it, and the geometry is taken from the defect report or the service request report. We've also sent out a message, SMS, to my colleague Sang and myself, which is what you've just seen, alerting us that this particular issue has been identified. And then, on each of these nodes, there are different sets of circumstances and different sets of responses that can be defined. And you can make these as big or as small as you like, but they're incredibly powerful. So that's just a really quick example of how you can use Alloy to actually help you react to events and service requests that are sort of happening on your network.